Kelly Smusker, and I'd like to welcome you to the curriculum race of the Chicano movement curriculum that pairs with the Colorado Social Studies standards. I would like to thank a few people first. The first one just walked over, and that's Josie Checkporter for History Colorado sponsoring our event. So if we can give Josie a hand, please, she's standing back there. And then I would also like to thank two other people. My co-writer, Dr. Nikki Gonzalez, who is part of this curriculum team that we created to make sure students in Colorado have a curriculum that teaches them about their people, and I think that's really important. And then I have here Maggie Koval from Colorado Humanities, who actually awarded National History in Colorado a grant that allowed us to move forward with this project and promote this inclusive curriculum for Colorado schools. We can give everybody a hand. So first, I would like Maggie to come up and talk to us about Colorado Humanities and give her speech.
It is hardly a speech. Don't be worried. Besides, we have a lot of time to get to those wonderful cupcakes. Well, thank you, Kelly. And Kelly should be recognized for all the work that she does for History Day year-round, but also for this special project, which was an add-on to an already busy schedule. So, thank you. So we at Colorado Humanities were thrilled to learn that we could support National History Day Colorado with some special funding from the National Endowment for the Humanities, or NEH as some of you will know it. Our NEH chair, Shelley Lowe, offered funding to the state humanities councils across the country to help extend National History Day to underserved communities and to engage scholars of diverse cultural histories. So we decided we would take advantage of that, and as did many of the councils across the country. We're also anxious to see what some of them are doing with the funding. This effort, Colorado, aligns with NEH's More Perfect Union initiative, the purpose of which was to create resources leading up to the 250th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence. So this curriculum centered on Colorado's role in an important piece of civil rights history, is the second of 4 new resources for our teachers. So we at Colorado Humanities look forward to seeing the student projects that come out of this new resource, and we hope that they inspire teachers in many, many years to come. Thank you.
Thanks, Meg.
Thank you, Maggie. So today we're here to share National History Day Colorado's Chicano curriculum in an effort to forge an understanding of the historical significance of Colorado's Chicano movement. When I was asked to write the curriculum for Colorado Humanities and Maggie, I specifically wanted to focus the attention of classroom teachers on understanding, respecting, and preserving Colorado's Chicano movement and its history. Reaching out to my curriculum scholar, Dr. Nikki Gonzalez, I already knew that we would come together and create social studies lessons that would honor Chicano activists across the state, acknowledge modern efforts to preserve culture, and teach students in our classrooms how activism moves a nation forward. As Torquay Gonzalez once expressed when talking about why he needed to lead the Chicano movement, he stated, "I'm an agitator and a troublemaker. That's my reputation, and that's what I'm going to be." And I can't agree more, honestly. That is why I chose to write this curriculum. Sometimes we have to shake it up in the present to remind people about the past. History is important that way, the learning of the past in an effort to mold the future. Colorado Humanities has created this amazing partnership to bring together all of us here today. our holders of history at the History Colorado Center, and our writers of history, myself and Dr. Nikki Gonzalez. I have wandered through the History Colorado Center's El Movimiento exhibit, taking my National History Day classes here. Every fall I come, listening to their remarks, such as, the West High School walkout was led by students our age, and we look like the people in the pictures. Some of these students, all grown up now, like Franca sitting right here, honor our journey together. This curriculum is a chance for teachers and students to have a set of targeted resources that are tangible, that explore what it was like to be a Chicano activist in the midst of our nation's civil rights movements. Facing discrimination and racism, an entire group of marginalized people rose above established social hierarchies to break free from the circumstance. Dr. Gonzalez taught me that sharing the history and using words that are culturally relevant affords those who face injustices a powerful voice, regardless of who is sharing that message. As Chicano activist Dolores Huerta stated, every moment is an organizing opportunity. Every person, a potential activist. Every minute, a chance to change the world. She's right. One student at a time, one teacher at a time, one museum at a time, one organization at a time. Dr. Gonzalez, thank you for enriching the educational experience of every Colorado student. I am honored to place your knowledge and wisdom of Colorado's Chicano movement into the state's required social studies curriculum standards in literacy and in history. Please enjoy your curriculum. It's my honor to write it. Thank you. Nikki, would you mind coming up?
Good afternoon, everybody. Kelly, thank you for that inspiring speech, and thank you for everything that you've done. And thank you, Maggie, for supporting this work. And thanks to History Colorado for always supporting this work. And thank you all for being here. So, it really does change lives when our kids can read their own history. It also changes communities, giving people hope and pride in who they are and where they've come from. There is no better medicine, I believe, for social malaise and for hopelessness than knowing your own history. This project comes at a critical moment in our national story, in our state story, when history itself and the very teaching of accurate versions of our history are threatened by groups and individuals who would rather not acknowledge the difficult topics in our history. And they would rather not acknowledge the achievements and triumphs of groups that have been historically pushed to the margins of society. Yet we know, as James Baldwin once wrote, and those of us who believe in the power and relevance of our past, we know that we carry our histories with us. Using Baldwin's words, quote, "History shapes our frames of reference, our identities, and our aspirations," close quote. And of course, we know that our collective history, meaning all of our stories, have shaped our city here in Denver and our state more broadly. I don't know how one can truly ever grasp the full story of Colorado without beginning with Indigenous and Chicano history, and then proceeding to explore the stories of every group who has shaped our state. I don't know how you drive down 38th Avenue, past La Raza Park, and don't wonder about the story behind the name, or wonder about the historical significance of that place, and how that park became known as La Raza Park, and what that means. Knowing this, and so many more significant names and places, and their impact on Colorado, will help students understand their home, themselves, and their context. The history of Colorado's Chicano movement is one for the record books in terms of its richness and its impact on Colorado's political, physical, cultural, social, and educational landscapes. As we know, the movement itself was actually a confluence of many, many movements throughout the state, in all parts of the state. And I've been fortunate enough to explore many of those parts of the state and many of those histories. From the Western Slope, where Chicano activists tried to organize agricultural communities and farm workers for better treatment, paying commissions, to the ranches and small pueblos of the San Luis Valley, and the decades-long history of land rights activism that has shaped those communities since the 1860s. That story is very dear to my heart. To the southeastern communities around Trinidad and Wilsonburg, and especially Pueblo, where young Chicano activists engaged in many causes for justice and created newspapers that would become historic and important voices of the Chicano community during the movement years and later. To the student movements in Boulder. Actually, this is the 50th anniversary year of the May 1974 untimely and tragic deaths of Los Seis de Boulder. 6 young people who have become memorialized and become martyrs for their unwavering fight against racism and their commitment to educational equity for Chicanos at CU Boulder. To, of course, Denver, where groups like the Crusade for Justice and many others, including the West Side Coalition, organized for justice around a number of different causes. Denver was often the place where activists from all over the state, and indeed all over the nation, came together to create their agendas and to inspire one another. Knowing the history of the Chicano movement and its impact on the state is absolutely essential to understanding the history of the state, so I'm so grateful to you all. In preparation for today, I've been thinking about my first forays into Colorado history, born and raised here, many generations. I recall when I was in 4th grade, we memorized names like Molly Brown, the Moffat Tunnel, still stay with me, Horace Tabor, and the gold mines that brought riches to some who journeyed here from the east. Much to my dismay, I learned that my family didn't come in covered wagons to the west, and so I was confused. I was on a search for who I was and who my family was. I left 4th grade with no sense that my family were people who looked like me, who had names like me, and my family, or who spoke the language that my grandpa spoke in our house. I had no sense that they were here before, or that we, my family, my ancestors were here. I would later learn that my ancestors were here long before Colorado was a state. But that wasn't until college, and that came in New Haven, Connecticut. A Yale course in the history of the American West empowered me and shaped my life in ways that I would never have imagined. And as I look back, I have a hard time imagining my life being any different. So again, I want to express my sincere gratitude to everyone involved in this project. Thank you for valuing the history of my community and families like mine. I'm hopeful that this curriculum will empower young people the way that this history has empowered me and many others. And I see some people here who have inspired me through the years and encouraged me in my work, so thank you. And thank you all for making sure that kids know a more complete history